5 years ago, Maya felt completely lost. Every morning she woke up with the same heavy feeling in her chest, a quiet sense that something wasn't right, but she couldn't explain what it was. She was attending a small community college, not because she had a dream, but because it felt like the only thing she was supposed to do. Everyone around her seemed to have a direction, a purpose, a plan. Maya had none of those things. She sat in the back of every class, silent and invisible. Weeks passed, then months, and she realized something painful. She hadn't made a single friend, not one conversation, not one meaningful connection. Her social skills felt non-existent, and every attempt to speak seemed to die in her throat before it even began. Her grades were average at best. Assignments that took others a few hours would take her days, sometimes an entire week. She would stare at her laptop, overwhelmed and frustrated, wondering why everything felt so difficult for her. Slowly, doubt began to grow inside her mind. Maybe I'm just not good enough, she thought. Outside of school, her life wasn't much different. Most of her time was spent alone in her room, scrolling endlessly through social media or watching shows that she barely paid attention to. She wasn't happy, but she also wasn't doing anything to change it. She was stuck. One evening, everything began to shift. Maya was watching a movie, just another way to pass time. But this time, something felt different. The main character was confident, energetic, full of life. He spoke clearly, laughed easily, and moved through the world as if he truly belonged in it. Maya couldn't look away. As she watched him, she felt something deep inside her, a mix of admiration and something more painful. Jealousy. Not the kind that makes you angry at others, but the kind that makes you question yourself. "Why can't I be like that?" she whispered. That moment stayed with her. For the first time in a long time, she didn't just feel sad, she felt aware of the gap between who she was and who she wanted to be. And slowly, that awareness turned into a decision. At first, the changes were small. The next day in class, Maya forced herself to say a simple word, "Hi." It was awkward. Her voice felt shaky and the other person barely noticed, but to Maya, it was a huge step. It was the first time in months, maybe years, that she had tried. That night she wrote something down in a small notebook. Talk to one person tomorrow. It became her first goal. Day by day, she started pushing herself in small ways. She didn't wait to feel confident because she knew she wasn't. Instead, she acted anyway. Sometimes she failed, many times in fact. People didn't always respond. Conversations felt forced. She said the wrong things. She felt embarrassed, but she didn't stop. Every night she would sit quietly and think about her day. What went well? What went wrong? What could she do better tomorrow? She began to study people. Not in a strange way, but with curiosity. She noticed how confident people spoke, how they smiled, how they listened. She practiced speaking in front of a mirror, repeating phrases until they felt natural. It was uncomfortable. It was slow, but something was changing. Weeks turned into months. Maya found herself speaking more often in class. She started recognizing familiar faces. One day, a girl sat next to her and asked, "Hey, didn't we have the same class last semester?" Maya smiled. Yes, we did. It was a simple conversation, but it felt like a breakthrough. Around the same time, Maya started focusing on another area of her life. Her skills. She realized that part of her frustration came from feeling incapable, so she decided to fix that. Whenever she didn't understand something, instead of avoiding it, she leaned into it. She asked questions, she searched for answers, she stayed after class, she watched tutorials online. At first, it was exhausting, but slowly she improved. Assignments that once took her a week now took a few days. Then a few hours. The more she learned, the more confident she became. But not everything she tried worked. There was a period when Maya spent hours every day watching motivational videos, reading advice, and writing endless plans. She felt productive, but in reality, she wasn't moving forward. One day she stopped and asked herself a hard question. Am I actually doing anything or just thinking about doing things? The answer was clear. That day, she made a new rule. Less thinking, more action. She decided that for every hour she spent planning, she would spend at least 4 hours doing. That decision changed everything. Instead of just imagining a better life, she started building it. After graduating, Maya didn't suddenly become successful. In fact, the real challenges had just begun. She faced rejection after rejection. Job applications were ignored, interviews didn't go well. There were days when she felt like she was back at the beginning, lost and uncertain. But this time, something was different. She didn't quit. She treated every failure as feedback. After each rejection, she asked herself, "What can I improve?" She improved her resume, practiced interviews, learned new skills, again and again. Months passed. Then one day, she got a call. "Hi, Maya, we'd like to offer you the position." She froze. "Really?" she asked, almost in disbelief. "Yes, congratulations." It wasn't just a job, it was an opportunity to work on something she genuinely cared about. That was the beginning. A year later, Maya's life looked completely different. She had a job she loved, earning more than she ever thought possible. She worked with people who inspired her. She had friends she spent time with regularly. She even found someone special, someone who cared about her deeply. But more importantly, she had something she never had before: purpose. She woke up each day with energy, not because life was perfect, but because she was moving forward. Of course, challenges didn't disappear. There were still moments of doubt, still days when things didn't go as planned, still times when she felt like she wasn't good enough. But now she knew how to handle those moments. She didn't run from them. She worked through them. Looking back, Maya realized something important. There was no single moment that changed her life. No magic solution. No shortcut. It was the small actions, the daily effort, the willingness to try, fail, learn, and try again. That was the real secret. If there was one thing she could tell anyone who feels lost, it would be this: start small. Take one step, then another. Don't wait to feel ready. Don't wait for confidence. Those things come after you begin. Focus on what you can control: your actions, your effort, your attitude, and most importantly, keep going. Because failure is not the end of your story. It's just the beginning. And if you keep moving forward, no matter how slow it feels, one day you'll look back and realize you didn't just survive. You transformed. From failure to success. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.